Thank you, Madam President. Speaking to the bill.
Senator has the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to just clear up the record a little bit. First of all, while the senator was, and again, I didn't come here prepared to debate this today, so I hadn't gone back and reviewed a lot of this stuff, but I just went out and pulled Section 6 of Article 2 of the Constitution of Virginia, which has to do with apportionment. And I just want to note for the body, not only does the Constitution require districts to be composed of compact and contiguous territory, however, the Constitution also says they shall be constituted as to give as nearly as practical representation in proportion to the population of districts, and proportionality is also required. In addition, it says districts have to be drawn in accordance with the requirements of federal and state laws that address racial and ethnic fairness, including the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution and provisions of the Voting Rights Act 1965 as amended, and judicial decisions interpreting those laws. It also says, specifically, districts shall provide where practicable opportunities for racial and ethnic communities to elect candidates of their choice. And that's in the Constitution. So regardless of the law that's being suspended, all of that remains the law in the Commonwealth of Virginia, in addition to federal law, which we already talked about a little bit. I just think it's important to cite that. In addition to that, Madam President, I heard the Minority Leader talk a bit about how voters are being given the maps before they vote. And yeah, they are. That's intentional. So voters know what they're voting for. And if we didn't put out the maps before the vote, you'll all be arguing that we're giving ourselves a blank check to do whatever we want. We thought it's important in the interest of transparency to show voters exactly what they're going to vote for so they can make a fully informed decision when deciding how to respond to what these other states are doing to us. And what's happening, Madam President, is that the President of the United States, who apparently only one half of this chamber knows how to stand up to, we've already heard about that yesterday and the day before, and we're going to hear about it again and again and again this session, has basically directed people in other states to grab power, to basically maintain his power indefinitely, to rig the game, to rig the system. Look what's happened in Texas, where they're trying to steal 4 or 5 congressional seats, in Missouri, in North Carolina, where they stole 3, in Ohio, where they stole 1. We have a special session set for Florida the week, I think, after the vote is scheduled on this, where Ron DeSantis in Florida plans to steal another 4 congressional seats to try to rig the game and rig the map so that Trump can remain in power unchecked by any branch of government for the rest of his term. Madam President, you know what? I don't think a lot of Virginians like that. A lot of Virginians don't like the fact that the President of the United States has basically tried to transfer federal agencies out of state, that he's basically unilaterally fired tens and tens and tens of thousands of Virginians from their jobs, that he's basically tried to steal our grants. Look what the grants that he stole out of Hampton Roads for all the wind projects we had down there, and tried to shut down an $11 billion wind program, which would have cost Virginians households hundreds of thousands of dollars to have a wind project that can't generate wind because Trump has some weird fetish about wind, which nobody seems to understand. And just lately, he threatened to steal our elections. The Constitution of the United States specifically says that elections in America are run by the states. It's explicit in our Constitution. And he's talking about federalizing elections and stealing elections and putting federal officers at elections. And I mean, this is unconstitutional. I haven't heard a peep out of the other side about all the attacks on democracy. And you want to know why Virginians are so fed up and they think that we need to have a measured temporary response? Is to check this power because nobody will speak up to him who's in his party. It's time, Madam President, that we fight back and we do something, because when we signed up to this Constitution in 1787 as the largest state in America, we had 20% of the population of America in Virginia. We didn't sign up for some deal that allowed the other states to pick our pockets and to run us over whenever they felt like it. We signed a contract with them. It's called the Constitution of the United States of America, and it didn't contemplate redrawing Congress in a way to basically deny us a voice at the federal level. And if voters choose to pass this, it will give them a voice, and it'll give a check and balance, and it'll get things in D.C. under control so Virginia doesn't keep getting the short end of the stick. I hope we can pass this.